What part of our contract do you not understand about socialization and fraternization with the players?
No, I understand it.
Oh boy, this was not the video I was expecting to film today, but here we are. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I was originally planning on making my video on dance competition shows such as So You Think You Can Dance, World of Dance, and Dancing with the Stars, but that is taking a lot longer than I anticipated, so I decided why not make something that might be a little bit easier and something that I'm sure many of you have been requesting and badgering me about for 50 million fucking years. Yes, we are talking about arguably the messiest season of DCC Making the Team, season 12. There is a lot of shit that goes down in this season, and a lot of it is unfortunately left up to interpretation by the viewer, since many of the scandals that were in this season have just not been wholly verified, but we all know that the truth lies within the people in the story. But before we get into the nitty-gritty, and yes, that is a pun, disclaimers. Please do not badger me about making other DCC Making the Team videos. I do not want a third of my comments this time around to just be, can you make this video? Can you make this video? Please.
I don't care what you want. It's not about what you want.
And second and last disclaimer, make sure you guys watch my other DCC videos, which I have in a playlist, so you guys can go ahead and watch them. But anyways, let's get into it. So season 12 of Making the Team had a lot of new faces as well as familiar ones. 4 of our familiar faces happen to be former training camp candidates, such as Christina, who was a training camp candidate back in 2014, and this is now her 5th year auditioning for the squad. We also have Brennan, who was in training camp in 2016 and also auditioned in 2015, so this is her 3rd time to audition. We also have Celinda, who is entering her 3rd time auditioning for the team, who also was in training camp last year. And then last but certainly not least, we have Whitney, who is also auditioning for her 5th year and was in training camp last year, but was cut due to her not being an entertainer.
I don't think that that this is the right team for you.
Some new faces that we saw that were done severely dirty in the aftermath would be Caitlin, who was a former LSU Tiger Girl, which at the time they had several LSU girls.
Several of my former teammates from LSU are currently Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. I've danced with Kaylin, Erica, Kirsten, and Tess.
And then of course we have Dara and Ariel, who are currently on the team that also were former LSU Tiger Girls. A few other dancers that were also given the Marie Antoinette treatment would be Kate, who was a ballroom dancer, as well as Lacey, who both formerly cheered in the NFL. So after prelims is where Kelly, Judy, and Charlotte are discussing all the candidates per usual.
Cute. Yes.
She was strong. I gave her a maybe.
I had a maybe. Oh.
All right, Miss Whitney from Garland.
I had a yes.
She made training camp last year. She was the first to be released. It's interesting, though, because when we released her, Judy, I didn't even give her a, we think you should try out talk.
No, you didn't.
The rest of the ladies all made it through to the semis round, as well as Dayton, who is a legacy candidate.
I'm Dayton's mom. I'm not going to tell you how old I am. I cheered for the Dallas Cowboys for 5 seasons.
Everyone's always asked me if I've wanted to try out, and I've always said no, but this year I was like, okay, I'm gonna go for it.
Dayton. Her mom, Shelly, was the associate choreographer for the DCC, as well as a former cheerleader herself back in the 90s. So now we enter the semis round, and all of the candidates are learning the combination, which unfortunately led to some snide remarks about certain girls' appearances.
I put she's fit.
I knew you would say that.
And I like her.
Oh, I like her too.
But is that something that can be adjusted that quickly if you think
A blouse, honestly, if it's shoulders
and arms, which is what it was for me, the blouse softens that.
You could definitely tell that the judging panel was subliminally sending messaging that Caitlyn appeared too old or too womanly, despite the fact that she was a beautiful dancer, her kicks were absolutely insane, and she just deserved better. But this is where things start to tip over for Whitney, as she forgot parts of the combination while she was performing, which resulted in her elimination.
I told Whitney last year I really didn't think she was a fit. I want for her to warm up, but there's something to me about Whitney that is withdrawn and a little robotic.
But the Whitney saga does not end there. You see, after her untimely exit from DCC, she went on to audition for the Miami Dolphins and was successful. But little did we know the horrors that would come out of that. Whitney in 2019 received assault and battery charges towards her ex-boyfriend, resulting in her being arrested. The report states that Whitney attacked her ex-boyfriend while he was having dinner with the woman in Miami and unlocked the rear door, picked up a candle, threw it at them, and hit him in the hand, resulting in her ex-boyfriend receiving a visible bruise.
Picked up a lit candle, threw it at both victims, striking the ex on the hand, causing a bruise.
But it does seem that Whitney is doing significantly better recently, as she is still connected with many of the people she auditioned with, as well as some former DCC. The interesting thing about this new shift towards the newer seasons of Making the Team is that they actually showed the veterans rehearsing before finals. They had all of the girls learning choreography from guest choreographers, usually during their Tuesday technique, and we would see veterans coming in to the office to talk with Kelly and Judy to get critiques to see how they can improve themselves before auditions.
What has come up a couple times is I've asked people who is their guiding light veteran. I think you have the opportunity now to be the girl that people call their guiding light. This is Jenna's year to be a real fresh, well-rounded leader of this squad.
They brought in Yuko, Kirsten, and Kelsey. Kirsten, throughout her tenure, was applying to medical schools, and honestly, Kirsten in general is a very underrated DCC. I don't know why nobody talks about her. She was great. Kelly and Judy then called Kelsey into the office to ensure that she was ready for the panel interview, as she's had some very iconic moments.
How many yards on a football field?
There are 50.
50 yards on a football field.
Can you tell me who the general manager is of the Cowboys?
And this resulted in some think pieces that Kelsey should not have made DCC, especially considering the cuts that were on season 11 where Amy and Kendall were released, who also auditioned for many years. I disagree with that mindset for a couple of reasons. In fact, I just think that Kelly and Judy should have taken 39 girls that year. And in fact, Kelsey has been very vocal about the fact that her rookie year was really rough, but as is everybody's rookie year. But when she came back this year as a veteran, she came back extremely strong. Now, don't get me wrong, Amy's cut absolutely tore my heart to shreds, and it absolutely baffles me, and it still makes me angry to this day. But I also think that harping on Kelsey making the team when she has no control over who Kelly and Judy put on the team just doesn't really benefit anybody. And then lastly, Kelly and Judy brought Yuko into the office to see how she's been acclimating to Texas, as she is from Japan. We honestly do need more Asian representation in DCC. It's really exciting to see that Allison, who is Vietnamese, is on the team, but we need more, especially considering that Allison did not get much screen time in America's Sweethearts. But now we're entering finals, and the veterans have a rehearsal where we got this spiel about there's such a diverse amount of candidates.
There's some really good people this year. Like, I have never seen this diverse of a semifinal group walking into finals. There's blondes that are good, and there's brunettes that are good, and there's redheads that are good.
Oh my god. The panel interview this round was normal, but this is when Kelly starts to melt as Brianna, her girl crush of the season, and was also 18 when she auditioned, expressed that she was super excited and her dance family is supporting her.
This is my first interview.
How much does this mean to you to make the team?
It means a lot, just coming from New Jersey. My whole dance family is cheering me on.
It's amazing to be in this room with everybody.
One of our favorites has been Brianna. She just melted us.
The only eyebrow-raising part of the panel interview would have to be Tasha's segment.
Do you know who Sean Spicer is?
Sean Spicer, I do not know, ma'am.
But now we're entering these solo rounds, which were absolutely phenomenal. A lot of the dances were actually posted by the cheerleaders on their social media, so I highly recommend watching their full routines because they were beautiful. Some standout solos this round happened to be Gina's routine, her technique. Are you guys seeing that freaking releve? She came from Danceology, and for those who don't know, that is a very prestigious dance studio in California. It is also the same studio that Ari danced at. It is also the same studio that Jenna, who currently made the team, danced at. It was also the same studio that Michelle, who is a current cheerleader, danced at. And yes, most of them went on to the Dance Awards, which is one of the biggest dance competitions in the United States. So the dance level was raised. Yeah, I'm just revealing that I know these girls more in dance studio culture, not as cheerleaders. But one thing that you cannot deny about Brianna, because yes, there are so many opinions on that girl, is that girl was a beautiful contemporary dancer.
Hello. Brianna's solo was very expressive. This 18-year-old who's traveled here from New Jersey, and she cried at her panel interviews. All of a sudden, wow. In fact, I wrote damn.
But the best solo that day, hands down, went to Holly. Holly, in my opinion, was one of the strongest dancers DCC has ever had. And honestly, I was genuinely shocked she ended up going the NFL path when she could have went the commercial dance route. And unfortunately, she had to suffer a malfunction on stage.
Oh my God.
But now we enter the field portion of the auditions where candidates who were not previously on the radar start getting on the radar, specifically with veterans. Heather H., who re-auditioned back, got on the radar for having low kicks. Tasha also got on the radar not only for her panel interview, but also her gaining weight. They were also coming for Allie for having gained weight. I was genuinely surprised that Allie even made the team at all, especially considering how much Kelly and Judy criticized her physique. And let's just say that these rules are very arbitrary, considering that they cut Vivian, that they cut Megan Prapton, that they cut Liz Reuter, that they cut Grace Sells. I'm gonna give myself an aneurysm if I try to make sense of this. They were also coming at Rayleigh, who was coming in as a third-year veteran for not performing well and being a blender. But these sentiments the judges were spewing were then echoed during their deliberation, where they decided to cut Heather, Allie, and Rayleigh from the squad. They also cut Caitlin, the LSU Tiger Girl. Dayton was also eliminated and didn't progress onward to training camp, which people tend to compare Dayton and Cassie, which I don't fully agree with that, considering they auditioned in very different time periods. Though the argument can be made about Cassie receiving special treatment because of who her mom was, therefore Dayton should have received that same special treatment for all the years she put in. I feel as though that's a much more valid and constructive argument. Lacey also ended up getting eliminated, which was heartbreaking considering that she was all around a very good dancer and good candidate.
You not heard of the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders? The best of our girls, they would laugh at you.
Like, okay, I expected this lady to be a little bit tough, but maybe it's a little bit more than I was expecting.
But now we are in training camp and all the girls are adjusting their lives in Dallas. And this is the first year where the DCC are training in their new headquarters. And the facility is absolutely gorgeous.
For those of you that are from other NFL teams, what do you think?
Unreal.
Really? What'd y'all have at the Patriots?
They give us lockers, but it's nothing like this. This is overwhelming.
Bags were lined up on the outside of the studio. It's the basement of a gym.
Don't bring your bag out.
But now we are at our first rehearsal when Mr. Jerry Jones makes a grand appearance.
Wow.
First of all, I just want to tell you congratulations. It's very demanding to the point of I don't know that I agree with.
Yeah, I never thought I would see the day where I would ever agree with Jerry Jones, but yeah. All of the girls are now learning their first routine of training camp that is taught by Jenna. A few girls did end up struggling in the routine.
Brianna,
You need to find your power. Aaron, you know you're struggling with this style. Savannah, you're chasing the choreography.
But there were a few girls that did do a particularly amazing job, which had to be Calissa and Kira.
I'll tell you who's got a lot of power, Calissa.
She's our little firecracker.
They were essentially the two shining stars of this training camp. But this pretty much wraps it up for the first night, and then afterwards they attended an alumni seminar where they were performing these routines and received feedback. Most notably, we had Sarah Gorley, Ashton, Mia Greenhouse, and of course, Cassie Trammell.
I wasn't the girl that could just sit there and plaster a smile on my face comfortably all day, but like my thing ended up being that I was the one that could lay down the law.
But this is when Erin starts getting on the radar for being unable to adapt the style and often tripping over herself, which to me just signals that she wasn't very grounded into the floor. Brianna was also receiving feedback for needing to adapt the style, using her plie, and getting grounded into the floor. And then after that, the candidates have another rehearsal where the alumni are present and are giving feedback to Kelly and Judy to see who was going to be their first cut.
Tasha?
Yeah.
Wait. Stephanie?
Yeah.
Wait.
Tasha is 10 pounds heavier than she was at last year's auditions. Do y'all see it?
Yes.
Aaron concerns me.
Yes.
Definitely.
I was totally surprised by her. I thought she was gonna nail it. She fell countless amount of times today.
I don't think Erin is making any corrections. You know, the weight changes that we kept telling her about. She better pick it up fast or she'll be kicked out quickly.
Oh, that sounded really bratty.
Yes, it did.
And this translated into the first few girls who were called into the office, which was Brianna, Erin, Stephanie, and Tasha. Starting off with Tasha, who was called in for her weight, but you could tell that Kelly has such a soft delivery with this.
If it's just kind of a get back in the gym and get in shape, I know you can, but we have to hit this now.
Next up is Stephanie, who got called in for her weight once again. Stephanie also reveals during this office visit that she was in a car accident, which significantly took a toll on her mental and physical health. Next up is Erin. Erin was called in for being unable to adapt the style as well as some memory mistakes, and Kelly and Judy were just entranced by Erin's beautiful blue eyes.
I like her personality.
I do. Her eyes are brighter. She's pretty.
And then lastly, we have Brianna. She was called in for memory and also being unable to adapt the style. And Kelly is just stating she's beautiful. She's stunning. I wish to start a modeling agency for her.
If I could describe this moment in emojis, it'd be red heart, green heart, kissy face, top hat.
Little does Kelly know how well that statement really aged. So after these first rounds of office visits is when things start to take a shift, as now all of the candidates are heading out to the field to practice the kick line and the jump split, which unfortunately led to the training camp candidate Miranda hurting herself.
Are you okay?
I pulled my back leg just a little bit.
I saw Miranda walking up to us with big tears in her eyes.
When all the candidates are linked up doing the kick line all together, Judy gets frustrated. Why is Brianna such a slow learner? I don't understand it.
Why is she such a slow learner? I don't understand.
And then after working on the kick line, all of the candidates then return to the studio to perform the routines in front of Kelly and Judy, resulting in them making some of their first cuts, which unfortunately led to Erin being released from training camp.
We don't think you're progressing to our style quickly enough for this team this season.
Yes, ma'am.
Erin did end up re-auditioning in 2018, and she successfully made it and did 4 years on the team. Another candidate that was also on the radar while Erin was being released was Madeline. Madeline got critiques during the workshop with Kitty for not being fierce enough, and she's too much like the girl next door.
Come on, girl next door. You do have that little girl next door, but you dance like a little girl next door. I need you to up it a little bit.
Madeline is performing just as I expected. She's not fierce.
Which was sad to see since Madeline was getting positive critiques when the alumni were present, but ended up faltering with the sheer number of choreography that was being thrusted upon her.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm struggling a little bit out there tonight. I look like a deer in the headlights with a lot of the choreography.
Along with Selena, who was a veteran cheerleader, starting to get on the radar.
Selena looks heavy. Yeah, doesn't she?
As time progressed, unfortunately led to Madeline being released from training camp.
I think you're a few degrees away from being a very strong performer.
Thank you.
You're right there.
After Madeline's cut is when we were at show group auditions, where Kitty returns again. And this is also around the time where we get introduced to Gina.
San Diego has beautiful beaches, but I knew Texas had the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders, and I couldn't wait to audition for DCC.
Now, Gina gets a lot of flack from the Making the Team fandom, especially during this season. Many people tried to argue that Gina was too full of herself, she came across as fake, she didn't deserve to be point. We're gonna get there though. And then after show group auditions, Kitty then ends up coming back to another rehearsal where they are judging them for their kicks. And this is where Taryn, a training camp candidate, starts entering the radar.
Step forward, Taryn. So show me your développé. Now straighten. I mean, you have nothing here, but your core is what's going to hold all of that. That's what makes you stay on center, is having a strong core.
And so they call Brianna and Selena back into the office, and unfortunately, Brianna was eliminated from training camp.
I mean, my fear is you're gonna go back to New York and we'll never see you again. I'd love for you to leave feeling inspired to go take more power-based style classes. There's nothing else as a hurdle for you to make this team.
That means a lot coming from y'all.
Now, remember when I said that comment about Kelly saying she wanted to start a modeling agency for Brianna aged very well? Well, Brianna is currently a model. After Brianna's cut is when Celinda, Brennan start getting really on the radar, and since they both re-auditioned last year, Kelly and Judy are giving them more opportunities to receive feedback so that they can improve. Celinda was basically a perfect fit for DCC in Kelly's eyes, however she was not performing up to the level of the other candidates.
I want you to just refine your movement a little bit. You have a very natural quality about you with your face when you perform, and it's fun to watch. But don't take that passion and enthusiasm out of the movements, just refine it.
Which unfortunately resulted in her being eliminated.
We've seen what we need to see, and tonight's gonna be your last night.
I know that you guys have a job, and at the end of the day, like, if I give it my all, like, I'm proud of myself.
This team is very competitive, but you should be proud of yourself. You've done a heck of a job.
But this is where things start to take a deep turn, as now we are entering Nick Flores territory. I love Nick Flores. He is an amazing choreographer and very well known in the dance community. And this is also the season where more renowned dance choreographers would start entering Making the Team. They literally had Tice Diorio, Cheryl Burke on season 14. So Nick essentially had all of the girls improvising to a Pink song, and this is when Holly starts entering Kelly and Judy's radar.
You need to talk to her. She's beefing up. She needs to go back to being lean again.
Has she let off on the workouts?
No, she's in the gym every other day.
Well, she just might even need more yoga and Pilates. Things that lengthen you, not things that like bulk you up.
I think saying this to Holly was particularly egregious because if you actually look at past photos of Holly, she was just naturally a bit bigger. So when Holly talked about how she has to actively work out and actively eat healthy to maintain her figure basically reinforces that her current figure wasn't even healthy to maintain. And we saw the same thing with Victoria later, where she was unable to maintain the same weight she was at when she first made the team, and she developed an eating disorder, and now she is at her most comfortable weight. But now we need to talk about an interesting discourse that cropped this season was the whole Gina mean girl allegations. So during a rehearsal where Melissa Rycroft was present, Melissa stated that Gina was not someone that seemed approachable. Kitty also heard rumors from other girls on the squad that Gina thinks that she's the shit.
I think she thinks she's the
What?
The word travels fast, and the word has traveled fast on her.
Oh, really?
Which resulted in Kelly bringing in her two group leaders, Lacey and Robin, to discuss the situation.
Is she disconnected from y'all? Is she connected with you, or is she
I think she's disconnected
shy,
a
or?
little bit from the training camp candidates. I think they're just taking it as she's in it for herself, or she puts others down, not in a way that she's conscious of, though.
So then Gina got called into the office regarding these accusations, and she was shocked, to say the very least.
Somebody sees you as coming across a little aloof, or maybe that you think you're a better dancer than they are. Is there a misunderstanding, or is there anything that we're not seeing?
Kelly and Judy did find a common denominator that Gina did seem distant from her other rookie candidates, but also there could have been rumors that there were other girls on the team that were jealous of Gina and were spreading these rumors around to get her eliminated. Again, these were just rumors that were spilled on the show, so we truly don't know what happened. But I also find the sentiments that people have online about Gina to just be very off-putting. The criticism that often comes with Gina just seems very coded. It's just a bit off to me. I don't like it. But now we have to discuss the biggest bombshell to come out. Yes. Episode 9, The Scandal. So this episode starts off with show group attending an appearance with Demi Lovato, which was a concert that she did for someone who won a contest. Demi Lovato and DCC essentially go hand in hand, as her mom was a former cheerleader. And then after that appearance, the girls had numerous practices performing in front of Kelly and Judy. And then they brought in Raylan, and they had a few veterans choreograph a routine to her song. And then afterwards, Kelly brought in Jenna and Holly into the office to discuss a scandal with fraternizing with the football players. Now, the rumor mill with the Jenna-Holly scandal was wild. Essentially, Jenna was helping Holly get into clubs where the cowboys were present, and she did not reveal that information to Kelly and Judy. Now, re-watching this back, I initially thought Kelly and Judy were too harsh with Jenna, especially considering it wasn't her primary responsibility to be in charge of Holly. However, now looking back on it, I think Kelly and Judy's actions were justified. Jenna was not innocent, as there were also rumors swirling around that she was in a secret relationship with Dak Prescott. They kept it on the down low, so nobody knew, and as a result, Kelly and Judy pulled Jenna from the NFL Hall of Fame trip, and then she was demoted from Point of the Triangle, which was then given to Kashera. I definitely understand where Jenna was coming from, especially when she did ask another staff member if she would be able to be Point of the Triangle.
You said, has Point been taken away from me for the remainder of the season? I just need you to be honest for my peace of mind.
I mean, Canton was taken away, and that was like really hard. And I didn't want to, I guess, feel like I'm continually being punished.
But Kelly and Judy were well within their right to discipline Jenna for her actions. And then Holly gets called into the office regarding the fraternization, and she lies.
I don't talk to players. I don't.
Repeated reports, the locker room talks about it.
Why do you think that policy doesn't apply to you?
However, there were other factors that played into this. For one, there were rumors that Holly's dad was a lawyer. They tried to come to an amicable solution with the organization, and so they didn't come with a solution, which then led to Holly resigning from the team.
We have now accepted her letter of resignation. She's a young girl, and sometimes people make bad choices, and that's what's happened here.
The player that she was allegedly fraternizing with was Ezekiel Elliott, which I also think was the reason why it was so much of a scandal. All in all, it was just a messy situation. However, it is good to see that Holly is doing significantly better. She is now a realtor, but following that debacle, we now have all of the girls practicing on the field, and this is when Brennan, Alexandria, and Savannah start entering the radar. They were frequently talking about Alexandria's feminine, soft beauty and needing to hone in on that, which definitely reinforces the aesthetic preferences of the cheerleaders.
Hang on, I'm gonna go check her eye makeup.
Close your eyes, we're looking at your eyeshadow. Now, where'd you get your lashes?
They're extensions.
They're a lot.
She's not looking light and delicate. It surprised me. I loved her application photo.
Savannah was then also called in during this time for not adapting to choreography changes as well as memory mistakes, and also not guaranteeing that her and Savannah were both going to make the team. And then they ended up bringing Brennan into the office just simply for not standing out amongst the other girls, which resulted in her being cut from training camp.
I'm so tired of hearing people say facials and nervous. I really am.
When we're writing the top 36 names, your name isn't in the top 36.
Brennan's cut, especially after the drama that ensued after the team was announced, has just always rubbed me the wrong way. She did end up making the team the following year and was on the squad for 2 years, and then she was cut again during the COVID bubble season, which, Lord have mercy, I did not agree with her cut there either. It also definitely seemed that Kelly agreed with my sentiment as well, considering the following season she regretted cutting Brennan from the team. But after Brennan's cut is when more drama would ensue, as we are now at the NFL Hall of Fame game. All of the veterans are on this trip and are preparing for their performance for Jerry Jones to be inducted, and this is when controversy about former DCC Erica Wilkins starts to arise. Allegedly, during the Canton Hall of Fame trip, Erica was drinking, and there were also speculations that Erica was not fulfilling her roles as group leader and was pushing things off to her second group leader, Kashera. We don't know how much that is true, but it is interesting considering that Erica was not shown much at all this season, and then after she left, it was primarily due to her injury, and that is when she filed her lawsuit against the Cowboys.
But fast forward to now, and Wilkins says there's nothing quite like how she was treated while on the team.
We put in so much work, and to not be compensated fairly for that work is really just an injustice.
The suit also takes aim at the team's mascot, Rowdy. Wilkins says cheerleaders got paid less than him. The most she ever got paid a year, just over $16,000. The man who portrays Rowdy, according to the lawsuit, is paid at least $65,000 a year.
Rowdy, he's in a costume. You know, you have no look requirements, no height requirements, no weight requirements that he has to fulfill.
But I don't think people give Erica enough credit for what she did, especially those who only watched America's Sweethearts. And while it is noteworthy that Jada, Armani, and Megan fought for the DCCs to receive a 400% pay raise, we cannot exclude the fact that Erica was fighting in court for years for these women to even be receiving the amount of money that they had. They originally were making $8 an hour and $200 a game. The cheerleaders' wages ended up increasing from $8 to $12, and the game day doubled from $200 to $400. And Erica received a significant amount of backlash online, and I discussed this more in my DCC retrospective video. But in a very short condensed summary, summary, several former cheerleaders came on social media to denounce Erica's allegations, most notably Melissa Rycroft and Cassie Trammell.
It seemed to me at that time that this person, she was trying to jump on the bandwagon of getting notoriety and fame, because I think that happened with another team as well. Some cheerleaders that were suing because they weren't paid enough. So I think going in, you know what you're signing up for.
Yeah.
One of the biggest criticisms was there was making a comparison of how much Rowdy was making.
Yeah, the mascot.
But the mascot, that's not all that Rowdy, I think, does. I think Rowdy has more of a job as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna get myself in trouble, I think, with my my opinion on this. Listen, I'm all about women supporting women. And to start things out, let me just say something did need to change. I will 1000% agree with that.
Okay, I agree too.
When I was a cheerleader back in 2005, we did not get paid for practice, and I got paid $50 a game, which means I got $500 a year to be a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader. Now, I didn't second guess it. I wasn't like, oh my God, how do I pay my living? Because I was required to have a full-time job or be a full-time student at the time. I think that rule has changed, but my job paid my bills. Everything else I did was extra, and Cowboys to me was extra. I had nothing else really going on, so I did it. It was not about money. That's not why we did it. We didn't have social media. We weren't looking to get famous. We weren't looking to go do anything else. We did this because we loved it. We loved dancing. We loved the team. And unfortunately, social media, as fantastic as it is for a lot of things, with an organization like this, it almost changes that to where you'd have to question whether girls come in with that love still, or like we were talking about earlier, this is just, I want to go to LA. This girl filed this lawsuit. What really, really bothered me about it was that all of her social media pictures were still her in her DCC uniform. All her bios still said DCC from these years to these years, and now I'm a dance teacher from formal DCC. She was still using all of that. Every post that she posted was, hey guys, check me out on Channel 8 tomorrow. I'm doing an interview. And so I'm going, if you really, really felt that strongly that you were so mistreated, you would be writing about the cause and how do we change this? And y'all, here's this, not, hey, look at me, check me out here. That's why I'm so irritated with how she went about it. I don't think she cared. She signed the contract for 4 years that stated how much she was gonna make. And she was okay with that until she realized she could get something out of it.
There are some that say something so stupid or so shocking that it silences us.
But after the Canton, Ohio trip, they would repeatedly bring Savannah, Christina, and Taryn into the office several times. They also were bringing in Kira frequently since she was losing steam, which honestly is understandable since they were going at it for several months. But during the final nights of training camp, they had Savannah, Christina, and Taryn on high alert, which resulted them being brought into the office. And unfortunately, that resulted in Taryn, whose sole corrections was for her kicks, being eliminated from training camp.
You've come very far this year, and you're so close. You're so close to making this team, and we are so out of time.
And then the following practice, Kelly and Judy are assessing Savannah and Christina once again. And luckily, Kelly and Judy decided that they were successful and they both made the team with the squad announcement on the Ford Center field.
Lines matter, files matter, diagonals matter. These look like your places for the season. Congratulations!
Now, interestingly enough, season 12 doesn't end there. There were, yet again, more rumors about certain cheerleaders who ended up not returning for the following season or even leaving during mid-season. Milan, who was a second-year veteran on the team, left halfway through the year to go to a study abroad program for college. challenge. She talked about this aspect in a podcast, which unfortunately has been wiped from the internet completely. It's just gone. But I do remember listening to it and Milan revealing so many of her experiences on the squad that were less than savory, to say the least. Calissa and Alexandria also left during the year. There's many rumors with Alexandria and I couldn't find anything concrete about her. Okay, I did find something. So over on the DCC Making the Team subreddit, take it with a grain of salt, but somebody who auditioned with Alexandria revealed that there were legit personal reasons as to why she left the team, but also, there was something I saw online about Alexandria leaving due to some family issues. Nonetheless, there were valid reasons for Alexandria leaving. Calissa's exit is even more elusive to me since there were speculations that she was also involved with the Holly and Jenna situation, but it is interesting to see that both girls did not come back the following year and Kelly labeling their exit as attrition on the squad.
Because unfortunately, social media has allowed that to happen to these girls. They are superstars the second they make the team. They have thousands and thousands of followers. And Kelly and Judy are very well aware of it. You remember Carissa a few years ago?
Yes.
Yeah, hot, sexy, trying to seduce you. Carissa, who got kicked off halfway through the year because they realized she was more interested in posting naked and nighty selfies online than being a cheerleader.
So many things occurred during this season and it's just allegation after allegation after speculation after speculation. We very well may never know what truly happened during this season and it really does cement it as the most messiest season of the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Wow, this was a lot. I probably have missed a few things because this season was extremely long, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I wanted to get something out for you all while I am making my dance competition show video, which I am very excited about. Let me know all of your thoughts on this season of Making the Team, but also y'all do not spam my comments with requests, please. Please don't do that. I will see you guys whenever I appear next. Bye.
Brianna, I would send you home. I think that you're way too immature for this team right now. Yuko, I thought you were boring. Lexi, I would have cut you. I would have cut Celinda.